Good day, everybody. Let's do some integrals by guessing the answer and then correcting our guess so that it is actually correct. I'll go ahead and start with this one. You might think I cheated, but that's okay. So we've got a 3x minus 5 to the 1/2. Well, the antiderivative would be 3x minus 5. Add 1 to the power, divide by the new power. And then we're going to want to divide by that 3 too, but I'll leave it like this for now. If I were to take the derivative, the 3/2 is would cancel. I would get 3x minus 5, subtract 1 to the 1/2. And then times the derivative of what's inside, so I would also get times 3. Whoops. Now what I want is 7/4. So I'll have to multiply by 7/4, and I have to get rid of that 3, so times 1/3. So if I distribute that through, I'll bring this up. I'll do it in 2 steps here. It's 7 over 12 times 2/3. Put plus c, and then if I simplify, it looks like it's 7 over 18. So let's try that. Correct. Cosine. So antiderivative of cosine is sine. So you will guess it's sine of 3x plus 1. But if I were to take the derivative, I would get 3 cosine of 3x plus 1. And what I actually want is 1/2. So let's multiply by 1/2 and get rid of that 3. So 1/6. So 1/6 sine of 3x plus 1 plus c. Integral of sine, it's kind of similar. It will be minus cosine, so let's go ahead and do it. All right, so 3, so that'll be negative cosine of 6t plus 6. On these linear ones, I know you're going to have to divide by that 6, and you keep the constant up front. But for now, we'll do it this long way. So if I were to take the derivative of that, so integral of sine is negative cosine, kept everything the same. Derivative of cosine is negative sine. So we would get that, and then sine of 6t plus 6. Derivative of the argument is times 6. Now what I actually want is 2/3, so multiply by 2/3 times 1/6. That's like 1/9. So negative 1/9 plus c. Exponential, so and on this one for the beginning, so derivative, well, integral of an exponential e to the u is e to the u, so it'll just be e to the 5t minus 1. If I take the derivative, I would get 5 e to the 5t minus 1. What I want is 9/7, and I got to get rid of that 5, so that's 9 over 35. Again, this works for ones that'll be nice simple substitutions. When they're linear, you can don't even have to write anything down, but assuming this is a new technique, I'll write down the steps here. But so another sign. So let's bump it up. Intermediate. As they get more difficult, you probably don't want to just guess. You probably have to do the work of the substitution. And if you're in Calc 2 or Calc 1 learning the substitution, you should definitely show all the steps and not do this. But maybe Calc 3 or differential equations or whatever, maybe you can get away with it. So here you have cosine of something, its derivative will give you that outside part. The integral of cosine is sine. So this one might show the work on with the substitution, but I'll just go ahead and guess the answer. All right, so integral of cosine is sine. If I were to take the derivative of this, I would get cosine of the same argument, derivative of the argument, and well, actually in this case the 5 is good, so it looks like I need 1/8. So it's just that over 8. But there we go. All right, another good one. Something to the 1/2 power. So when we integrate, we'll get to the 3/2 power. There we go. So there it is, to the 3/2 power. And as we get better, we can kind of guess a little bit more. Maybe not on these intermediate ones, but I always divide by the new power, even though it almost throws me off a little because I still do the correction. So the derivative of this is going to be, I'll just use an arrow here, 3/2, that'll cancel. We'll get this whole thing to the 1/2 power. And we subtract 1 from the exponent. Derivative of what's inside will be -2 sine of 2t. So put the 2 right here. And that's that. So we've got the sine, but we don't have a minus, so I have to divide by a minus or multiply by a minus. So I need a -4/3, and I need to divide by 2. Can we see that? So it looks like I'll have a -2/3. I better double check this one. Oh, and actually I'm dividing by 3/2. See, I always forget that because I did do one thing there. So it's actually divided by 3/2, so it'll make it -4/9. And again, this one deserves a double check here. So I had to do, I want a 4/3. I have a minus. So I have to do -4/3. I got to get rid of that too. Yeah, I guess it's all right. There we go. All right. Hope you enjoyed that. This one's a little tricky because don't forget, derivative of log x is 1/x. That 2 will cancel itself in its derivative. But enough for today. Thank you, and go practice on your own.